Hey, Catherine,
Hey, Martin.
what happens when you give 5 doses of Valium to a lizard?
I have no idea.
Calmer, 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 calmer chameleon.
That's my favorite Boy George song.
Is it really? Okay. That's cool. I'm actually surprised I can say that joke right now because I'm kind of bummed. I just found my medicine cabinet has been tampered with,
Oh no.
and now I realize my Prozac pills are all gone.
What?
Yeah. So, to the thief who stole my antidepressants, I hope you're happy.
I'm
Wait a
sure they're
minute.
very, very happy.
Hang on. Hang on. These are gone too. My placebo pills are also gone.
What?
Now I've lost all control.
Well, that's right, listeners. You just heard the sonorous voice of the one, the only, Martín Reyes, master of wine and slinger of dad jokes. And you know what that means? That means this is a special episode.
It is. That's right. I've dropped in again. There I am. Here I go. Let's do this, Catherine.
So good to have you back, my friend. And as our listeners may know, these past few months, Martin Reyes, Master of Wine, stops in at the foretop when we have wine and health on the agenda.
Mm.
So, Martin, let's quickly review the conversations you and I have had recently. Let's travel back through time.
I love your sound. It's perfect. Who needs sound editors when we got Catherine? I can see the past. Yes. First, back in episode 130, you and I talked about the ingredients listing in wine labels and the prospect of those scary, graphic health warning labels
Mhm.
that some of them are starting to show up on alcohol in certain parts of the world.
That's right. And then on episode 134, we discussed and debated the World Health Organization's declaration that, quote, no amount of alcohol is safe for us to
Boo.
consume. But instead of rehashing all of that, I would just throw out two words to counter that argument.
Mm.
And those two words, which you actually were the one who cottoned me onto this, Martin, those two words are blue zones.
Damn straight KC and the Sunshine Band. Then we brought in we brought in the experts. On episode 142, the doctors Laura Catena and Miles Hassel talked about the positive role that wine can have in human health and longevity. We also pointed out, well, they did, but everyone did. We piled on and talked
Mhm.
about the striking fallacies in the World Health Organization's argument.
That's right. And now here we are. So you, Martin, you've been saying for months that you want to just take an episode or maybe two episodes
Mm.
and talk about something that the wine industry, it's like right in front of our faces, but we never talk about it.
Yeah, I've never had this conversation before. Like, what exactly happens when alcohol enters your body? How is it processed? Where does it go? I've alluded to how cool this can be now for several episodes, for several months, but yes, I want to do that.
Yes, you've sent me books about this, and I don't think I've ever heard anyone explain this. So, how about you and I try? And, this may not fit into one episode, this may take up two episodes. And also, folks, a huge disclaimer here. Guess what? We're not doctors. We
Wait,
are
what?
just a couple of curious people. We also happen to be curious people with an amazing producer, Nick Toole, who spent all week distilling
Ha ha
scientific
ha.
articles. I see that joke you put in there, Martin.
Hmm.
And I know, Martin, you have been also just guzzling scientific articles on this topic. So thank you, Nick, for all your work behind the scenes. And
Thank you, Nick.
Martin, anything you want to add to the disclaimer before we get started?
Okay, disclaimer voice. Okay, ready? All right.
Yep.
The Forward Top is a podcast in which two wine experts sometimes talk about issues we know next to nothing about. These
Hmm.
discussions about the body may not be suitable for everyone. Side effects may include fascination, uncontrollable urges to yell, aha, and existential discomfort. Do not take the Forward Top if you're experiencing an overly critical or skeptical state of mind. Brought to you by the world's biggest Radiolab fan, me.
Very nice. All right. So, like we said, we're not doctors and we don't even play doctors on TV, but I am a journalist, or I guess I was at one point. So, I'm going to lean into more of a guide role, kind of like a Ms. Frizzle persona. If
Mm.
you remember Magic School Bus, let's have some fluffy, frizzly fun with this, Martin.
Oh my gosh, the magic school bus.
I'm
Let's
trying to
do
have
it.
fun with this discussion about our bodies, this journey that alcohol takes through our bodies.
Shrinking down into a microscopic, like, size of the magic school bus, like, "Seat belts, everyone. Ride
Uh-huh.
on the magic school bus." I mean, this is fantastic. Let's do wait, does that make me the lizard? Am I the lizard?
You're not the lizard. Maybe you're the new science teacher, Mr. Reyes.
Sure. Maybe Pablo, your puppy, can be the lizard, okay? Yes. So we're gonna shrink down to very small size on the magic school bus, take you on a journey of discovery and explore what happens when alcohol enters our bodies.
All aboard.
Seatbelts, everyone.
Seatbelts, everyone. Okay, so first stop, before we even get to our bodies, let's consider alcohol. Let's consider that molecule. Up close, it looks kind of like a Jeff Koons dog, like a
Mm.
dog made out of balloons, like metal balloons. And as chemistry enthusiasts know, the shape of a molecule often matters quite a bit. So if it fits snugly into other molecules, like a jigsaw puzzle piece, that can affect the way that the molecules interact.
Yeah, like a key or a door lock, right? So this in this case, the dog, the alcohol dog puppy. Actually, maybe Pablo can be the
Pablo.
alcohol molecule.
Yeah.
So the dog's snout nuzzles easily into a water molecule, and then the dog's tail or its behind it fits snugly into a fat molecule. So that's why alcohol is so soluble in our bodies. It's right at home inside of us. It can roam freely, passing through our digestive tract and into bloodstreams, which is mostly water based. And then it could also pass through cell membranes, which are a lot of fat, right? So just remember that, folks, that this is a very, very soluble molecule.
Okay, I'm going to try to remember this. And before we move on, let's also cover, what is alcohol anyway?
Yes, so it's probably a good idea to review this. So, like in a low oxygen setting, like a tank of grape juice about to be fermented, yeast they chew through the sugars and they cleave it, they break it in half, or they break it down rather into carbon dioxide and alcohol and a little heat. And if you actually see all the chemical science, they add up neatly to that. That's how the yeast live. They chew through well, there's many different kinds of alcohols, but like even cholesterol is an alcohol if you think about it. But I digress. So the alcohol then becomes it's a molecular waste after the yeast are done creating energy, not very efficiently, through eating through that glucose. Yeast don't need it. In fact, too much becomes a toxin for them, and it stops right around the 12 to 14% of in the solution in which the yeast become dormant because there's too much alcohol in the liquid. And then, haha, we've got wine.
And those are those Jeff Koons puppy dogs.
Exactly. Yeah. Mhm.
So we've got those alcohol molecules. So what happens when we take a sip and those alcohol molecules enter our face? Well, they hit the flavor, odor, and touch receptors. It's a triple whammy because you can get that heat sensation in addition to the aromatics and the flavor, and we could talk about that some other
Mhm.
time. You also get that heat sensation as the tiny alcohol molecules pass through that fatty tongue tissue under your tongue and stimulate the pain receptors under there in the same way that high temperature would. The sensation of burning that we talk about with high alcohol, that's real.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that it is a touch sensation too. Furthermore, as wine professionals know well, when we taste and we spit, and we taste a lot of wine and spit a lot of wine, you still get a little bit lightheaded because we seem to absorb a tiny bit of that alcohol even if we don't swallow it because of how soluble alcohol is.
Yeah, it's being absorbed by the tongue and the mucosal lining of the mouth. And Martin, I know both you and I have sat through those day-long marathon tastings in which you're spitting all day, and yet by the end of the
Mm.
day, you're just so lightheaded.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why, some medications you can take, under your tongue, the tissue under the tongue are a pathway to the soul or actually to your bloodstream. But anyways, enough FaceTime. Let's move further south, shall we?
Plop. That was a terrible Ms. Frizzle. Terrible Ms. Frizzle sound effect that Nick put in there. Okay, we've landed in the stomach, and I just grossed myself out with that. Plop. Anyway, what's going on down here? What's going on in the stomach, Martin? Oh god, no.
Plop.
Oh, it's terrible,
We've
terrible.
landed in the stomach.
Okay.
Squishy squish. We're here.
Yeah, you're
Have
up.
you just grossed yourself out?
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, this is fun. We're in this, can you stomach this,
Oh
Catherine? Are you
god.
able to? Well, okay. So, alcohol's experience in your stomach is affected by how crowded it is. So,
Mhm.
that's why we know it's imperative to eat before drinking. And there's many theories about what you should eat before drinking, but what's really more important is how much you eat. So when you eat and consume alcohol, the pathway from your stomach to your small intestine closes up. I don't know if people knew this, but there are sphincters in your body. One of the ones is the one everyone can recall, but there's also a pyloric sphincter, pyloric valve inside that connects your stomach to the small intestine. So it traps the food as it's sort of, digesting it. And then also in our case, alcohol in your stomach is also trapped so that the alcohol enters much slower in your bloodstream in your stomach than it will in your small intestine. And that's why the rate of your intoxication is dramatically slowed down if you have alcohol with food.
And that's not all. So alcohol actually does try to pass through your stomach lining like some sneaky escapee, but it is met at the door by a couple of bouncers. Now, these guys have long names, but we will keep coming back to them. We will keep coming back to these two characters one more time. They are the enzymes alcohol dehydrogenase and
Aldehyde dehydrogenase.
thank you.
So for all you science nerds out there, yes, there's many different types of alcohols and many types of aldehyde dehydrogenase, but for simplicity's sake, we're generalizing here. So if you want to get into more detail, that's between you and Google. Okay.
Yep.
So let's simplify the name alcohol dehydrogenase. You can say ADH. It's an enzyme. It's evolved with animals because fruit has been fermenting on trees. After a while, it can get up to 4% alcohol.
Mhm.
And also, our gut bacteria also produces a small, tiny amount of ethanol.
Mhm.
So, these enzymes, are part of animals' evolution. So,
Wait, can I stop you there? I think
what?
that's really kind of stunning that we evolved as species
Uh huh.
and all animals evolved to be
Yes.
able to digest and consume and process alcohol. It is a natural part of how our body works.
I guess I hadn't thought about it that way until you said it.
That's
Yeah.
pretty amazing. I mean, I can't think of another mind altering substance like that.
Yeah. So, it is fascinating how nature does play a role in all of this for us. So, the alcohol dehydrogenase, ADH, the enzyme, oxidizes. This is how it works. It oxidizes the ethanol turns it into acetaldehyde.
Mhm.
Um, by the way, oxidation for chemistry 101, it's all that it means is simply when a molecule loses hydrogen atom, that molecule becomes oxidized. So it's fascinating to visualize what happens. This enzyme literally pops off a hydrogen atom from alcohol, actually a couple of them, and that same molecule is now a different thing. It's acetaldehyde. Okay, say it with me.
Acetaldehyde.
Acetaldehyde, right?
Oh, oh, sorry. Emphasize the S.
The ass? No. What? Hey, this is a family friendly program here. Come on, don't emphasize the
I'm
ass.
just this is what you all right, well, just like I say to myself every morning when I wake up, acetaldehyde. Anyway,
Yes.
acetaldehyde, it's an organic compound that naturally occurs in fruit, bread, and coffee, but your body is it's not a huge fan of it. Anyway, let's get back to the stomach lining. So because your body doesn't love that acetaldehyde, it keeps aldehyde dehydrogenase enzyme on hand to oxidize the acetaldehyde into acetate. Wow, that was a mouthful. So,
Yeah.
bam, another hydrogen atom
Bam.
neutralized. The dehydrogenase crew has given that ethanol the old 1-2 punch before it can continue to the bloodstream and intoxicate you. So,
Now,
wait,
as
can I stop you for a second, Martin?
yeah,
So, what's happening here is the body keeps sort of stopping alcohol in its tracks a little bit, right? It keeps kind of weakening it.
Yes, it's a pathway to weakening alcohol that has naturally occurred with sugars in the fruits and other substances, and then also a little tiny bit of alcohol in your system. So yes, the body has a natural defense mechanism to break that shit down. So as effective as that dehydrogenase crew is, these enzyme duo 1-2 punch, pop, 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 it isn't perfect. And so some alcohol does get into your bloodstream through the stomach lining. We have two takeaways here, right? First is A, do not drink on an empty stomach. And two, no matter how you slice it up, the next stop on the school bus is the small intestine. Squish, squish, squish.
All right, a school bus is pulling up to the small intestine. What do we see here?
Okay, yeah. So here we are. What a place! Wow, it's oddly cozy in here. It's kind of like being inside a pink shag carpet that's all rolled up around you in our little magic school bus. Going through the magic school bus.
Mm.
Okay, this is where most of the action takes place, right? So most of the alcohol you consume makes it into the small intestine, where it has a very easy path to your bloodstream.
Yes. And just to back up a little, that shag carpet look that you're seeing, those pink tufts are actually gazillions of small hair like projections called villi. And each of these is connected to a mesh of capillaries, which are designed to allow nutrients to pass into the bloodstream, which is, of course, great and allows us to get all those good nutrients from our food. But those villi also allow ethanol to pass into your bloodstream as well, contributing to intoxication.
Let's follow the ethanol into the bloodstream. Let's take the water slide, splash to get in there.
Okay, that's kind of gross because it's our bloodstream that we're talking about. But anyway.
Mm.
Martin, I'm so enjoying this conversation and I just want to keep going forever, but I'm feeling for our listeners. They've got other things to do. So, how about we break this conversation into 2 episodes?
Yeah, let's do that because I'm sure, like you said, the listeners want to maybe stop and grab happy hour drinks with their friends and listen to the next one the next time.
Yeah, but of course, they're going to have a little something to eat with that drink so that their bodies can process that alcohol a little better.
Exactly, exactly. Yes, artichoke dip and fried pickles.
That sounds so good. That actually reminds me that, we do close out each episode with a dessert course. Do you have any dessert to share?
Motherfucker, I wasn't ready for this.
Leave it in. Leave it in.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I will tell you that I want to. Have I mentioned Joy yet? Joi.
Mm-mm.
Well, Joy is my newest stumbling upon trying to be a conscious and sustainably minded consumer. And what this is, it's plant milk bases rather, where it almost looks like a jar of almond butter or cashew butter, but it's specifically designed to be thrown one tablespoon into your blender along with a date if you'd like, or nothing, and just blend it up, and all of a sudden you've got this ready made milk that you can. It's frothable. It's for whether your coffee or your cereal with the kids or whatever. It could replace up to, I think, 6 or 7 plastic jugs of your otherwise grocery store almond or cashew or oat milk. And so it's reduced. It's just a small glass jar replaces all of that plastic. And I've been using this for months. It's pretty badass, and I like that. It's called Joy, Joi.
Oh, cool. That is
Pretty cool.
so great. And I buy the kind of almond milk where you have to peel the little plastic label off in order to recycle it, and it's this whole thing. It's this whole production. Oh, this is such a great idea. I love this.
Yes, reduce your plastic. Keep having that milk.
Yeah, concentrated nut milk.
That sounds kind
That sounded terrible. Leave it in.
Leave it in. All right, talk about dessert.
right.
Anyway.
Well, on that note, this has been the Four Top Podcast. I am our executive producer, Catherine Cole.
And I am the occasional co-host, Martín Reyes, or Martin Reyes, Maestro de Vino, or Master of Wine.
Nick Toole is our producer, and a huge thank you to Nick for all the hard work he put into this episode. And Ruby Welkovich is our media and design manager.
Being Ruby Welkovich. Keelan King is our sound supervisor and the composer and performer of our fantastic theme music. Please visit our website, thefourtop.org, to learn more about us, listen to back episodes, and learn how to sponsor our work.
If you have not already subscribed to The Four Top on iTunes or Spotify, please do so, and please, please, please leave us a rating.
And from the depths of your liver, chilling with the bouncers, the bouncer enzymes, this is Martin signing off.
And from behind the wheel of the Magic School Bus, this is Catherine signing off. Stay safe out there, and thanks for listening.
Goodbye.